So here we are. Welcome back to the Diary of the Wife of the Dying Man. This is episode 5 called Our Second Home is the Hospital. Um, Thank you for remaining on my journey with me, and please do subscribe and share this with your friends and things, because I really want to get this message out far and wide and just share what it's like to be in this position, which touches so many people through our lives. So we're now like 2.5 weeks into Mick being into the hospital, and I know it so well. I even know the code to get through the security doors, which you shouldn't really have. We've gone through the point where Mick feels pretty crap. He sleeps a lot. One day I even read half of a whole book as he slept, because he slept for my whole visit, and obviously scintillating company. And mostly we just sit together watching afternoon TV, because he has got a TV in the room. So we're watching Place in the Sun, New Lives in the Sun, Chateau DIY. We're dreaming about being in a sunnier place, because his room is quite depressing. I mean, it's a good room, it's a good size room. He's got his own bathroom, it's private, and he has got a window in the room, but it's filthy, absolutely filthy, both inside and out. And the view is of brick walls. You know what hospitals are like? They kind of have a building built on another building and another building. So the room that he's got just looks onto lots of like brick walls. I mean, there's lots of different types of brick, and I guess bricks could be interesting if you like that sort of thing. But it's really quite boring. It's just lots of bricks. Then your tiniest glimpse of the sky, which, let's face it, is usually grey, especially at this time of year. So anyway, I had a decent week. I signed up a new client this week, which is great news and adds to my growing client list, because I love the coaching that I do. It gives me purpose. I feel like I'm making a difference, and it gives me some semblance of normal life away from the hospital rooms. And one day this week, I had a shocking journey to the hospital, and then it just makes you really moody and grumpy about the fact that you've got to be there. It took me the usual 25 minutes to get to the road that the hospital is in, and then 45 minutes to travel less than a mile and queue for the car park. It was just a nightmare. And then, of course, you know what it's like when you're in a car. I put myself under pressure, because I know obviously that Mick really likes me visiting. Um, and actually, the truth is, he's no idea of what time it is really when I get there. So he won't even notice how late I am. But I'm the one that like feels agitated and irritated. And I have to calm myself down before I go in there, because I don't want to be snappy and irritable with him. He's got enough to deal with. As long as I turn up with a Costa coffee from the Costa in the hospital, then all is fine with the world with him. And actually, it's when I go to leave in the evenings that it's hard. He really struggles to understand why I have to go home and leave him. And, I partly feel guilty about that, because it is sad to see him lying there on his own in the bed. But I also can feel quite angry about it and resentful. Why doesn't he get why I've got to go home? Why doesn't he think about me and how this is all affecting me? And that's being completely unfair. I'm just sharing with you how I'm feeling at the time, because I know lots of people will be feeling the same. And, actually, when he's in a good space, he does appreciate that I'm there. He does understand that I've got a life to lead as well, and a house to run and a business to run. But it's hard for both of us those leaving in the evenings. Some days I have to say easier than others, because if he's been a complete arse, then I'm quite happy to go. But some I still feel bad about it. But it is what it is, and we just have to get through it, and we're nearly at the end. So, during my week, I did a lot more planning. I started looking at used cars, little practical cars, medium size, that fitted our budget. And the first consideration is that it has to fit the wheelchair room. So I spent a morning going around a few dealers. I went to new dealers, because they're not really, you're not putting them out much. So I went and looked at an Audi A3. The wheelchair wouldn't fit in the boot. I tried a BMW 1 Series, but the wheelchair wouldn't fit in the boot. So I went and tried a VW Golf, and yay, it fit in the boot. And actually, a Golf is Mick's preferred small car anyway. He loves talking about cars, so we had a really good conversation about it this week. So Mick was an electrical engineer by trade and worked in the motor industry for his whole career. In fact, that's where we met. Story for another time. But we both started working at Volvo Car UK head office at the same time, and that's how we met. So we enjoyed talking about the cars this week, and I explained to him he was very happy about the thought that we might get a Golf. So that was all good. What else happened this week? I missed a training session this week because I'm so tired. Hospitals are just tiring places. It's incredible how tiring visiting is. Although I do all the caring when I'm there. I take him to the toilet, I shower him, clean him up, help him with his food on the days that he's struggling. This week, I even did a hospital porter job when they took him for a chest x-ray. They were just checking for an infection. But two porters and a nurse took him down there and I just tagged along. Once he'd had the x-ray, they park him in like a bay outside to wait for the porters to take him back to the ward. So I suggested to the nurse, why don't we just push him back to the ward rather than wait for the porters? She was like, oh, no, it's not our job. It's, the porters need to do it. And I said to her, well, the lady that came out before my husband is still sitting in that bay and has not gone back to the ward yet. She looked at me. It took her a few minutes to decide. And then she was like, oh, okay, let's just do it. You see, I'm more of a person that asks for forgiveness rather than permission. And actually, do you know what? There was no incidents that day, absolutely no incidents with it at all. We just pushed him back to the ward and there he was. And actually, gradually, he's getting better and better. And I expect that my next episode will be me telling you about the fact that he's coming home, which will be great because it just saves such a lot of time, such a lot of energy. And I know that when he comes home, I then have the responsibility for him, but that's okay. We're in our own home by then, and he will recover better in our own home. He's much more comfortable in familiar surroundings, particularly with the disabilities and things that he's got at home. We've got it all laid out for him to do what he wants to do. So I'm looking forward to being able to share that with you in the next episode. Have a great week and don't forget to subscribe.